And welcome everybody to the Freedom Frequency Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron, and it's been a minute. There has been a lot going on, a lot of things I got to catch you up on in this video today. But and we're gonna get caught up on a bunch of things, and then we're gonna dive into this video, a little commentary for you, because yet there's still people out there with all the content that I've put out, myself and the Angelas and all the others that I've worked with over the years when it comes to associations, all the misinformation that is consistently being put out there. And I'm going to show you right now, and this is something I talk to people, is do not use language models, AI, whatever you'd like to call it, for forming your documents, for getting information about associations, because what it's doing is pulling from all the sources online. And like we've talked about before, the majority, if not all, of the association people out there, the freedom people, PMA power, PMA solutions, Destiny 508, all these different individuals out there that are supposedly there to help you with your association and do it properly, have all the same bad information on their websites. And so when these language models and quote unquote AI scrape the internet and look for information and articles that people have written, you get the same bad information regurgitated by the AI. So it's very important that you check your sources. So we're going to do a little commentary on that today. And then we'll do that. But first, there's a few things that I need to talk to you about. So, first of all, there is a radio show that I now host that you might be interested in, and it is on Autolus. So you can go over to autolus.com or go to your Apple store, or your Google store, whatever kind of phone you're using, and you can search Autolus. You can download it. The station is called The Right Vibe. So we play some great music on there. And then from 12 to 2 every day, Eastern Standard Time, I do a show called The Right Vibe. And it's really looking at news, political type talk, conservative talk, I guess you could say. So feel free to join me over there, because come first of the year, we'll be taking live calls and stuff like that. So it'll be a little bit more interactive, a little bit more fun. And as of right now, I just broadcast from my studio here to people in West Michigan and in Connecticut and elsewhere when they listen on the app. So that's been a big thing over the last several months, working all the kinks out of that, because I have done YouTube, podcasting. Radio is a little bit different. It's a little few more bells and whistles you have to you have to get down. So we've got that. We also have a community. I've had conversations over the last several months with people saying, "Hey, is there a community we can go to? Is there a place I can go and find out about other associations? Is there a list of associations that may have a website that I can join and purchase from, or learn from?" So I've been looking at different platforms. I was going to host something myself on the East Coast PMA site, just too much work for me. So now we are over at School, SKOOL. There'll be links in the description so you can find us over there. It is a monthly subscription fee. I'm going to be upfront with that now, because I want to keep people out that are there to not actually learn, maybe just to cause problems. And when you offer free stuff, when I used to do free phone calls and consultations, my phone would ring off the hook. And it was just a lot of looky-loos and just people wanting to talk to you because they saw you on YouTube or somewhere else. When I started charging, my phone volume pretty much got cut almost in half, if not a little bit more. And it was nice because the time I was spending with people, it was on their dime, so to speak. So we got right to the crust of the biscuit of things. And then afterwards, I wouldn't mind talking with people for a little bit longer, but it really made for better conversations, because now I'm not just talking to people who kind of maybe want to know about associations or want to talk to you about different things like state, national, and sovereign and all this other stuff. So it is a paid service for right now. But what we are going to be doing within this is we have a classroom that is going to start getting built out with courses. There's also going to be different community chats. So, for example, we have, if I go over to it, I could tell you we have if my eye works, we have general discussions, PMA foundations, bylaws and governance, membership agreements, case law and legal principles, operation and best practices. And these are all different tabs that you can click on, and the conversation is going to be focused to that. So, and then we're going to have one spot that is share about your association. So if you have a whatever type of association you have and you want more people to know about it, it is a great way to get it to people. So I'm hoping everybody that watches these videos goes over there, joins. There's different tiers and different levels you can join at. We're also going to be doing a monthly or bi-monthly call where the people that are paying the higher tier can come. We can review documents. We can talk. We'll do it for about an hour and maybe a little more, depending on the involvement. So that I wanted to share with you. And also for those of you who have had conversations with me in the past, I have put together, I have had a lot of conversations over the years. So I took these conversations and some of my notes from them, the commonly asked questions, and I put it all into a book. So I believe it's just about 50, 60 pages. It's not a super long book. Obviously, I've tried to answer the most common questions. And so what we created, or I should say what I created, was the PMA blueprint. And it's advice, tools, checklists, and everything like that. So there are two versions of it. There's the PMA blueprint that is on Amazon. You can get it in a Kindle form. You can buy it there. It's $9.99. If you want the more in-depth version that comes as a toolkit, so there's forms, there's surveys, I guess is the best way to put it, to see how you score on your knowledge of associations, if it's right for you, if it's not, different checklists you want to adhere to if you're putting together your own documents. And I just think it's a good resource for people looking to get into associations. So that one you can find on eastcoastpma.com, and that goes for $58 over there. And really it's an all-encompassing toolkit, I think. So you could always pick that up too if you're looking to get into associations. Maybe it's something that you want to look at. So now that we've got all that out of the way, is there anything else I need to share? Um, no, things are kind of dead right now until midterms. So I've got a few months before things pick back up, but let's bring this up to the stage here. And so I found this guy today on not today, the other day rather, on YouTube. And let me pull up that one screen if I can find it, which I probably can't now that I'm looking for things. My other eye isn't 100% yet. I'm not wearing the patch just because it's not too bright in here and I've got the hat on, but I still can't see anything out of it, which is annoying. So here we go. This guy is called the Freedom Law School. And when you look at his site, it says they're a PMA that I guess consults in law, but they are not associated with attorneys or the bar. And this guy's claim to fame is he hasn't paid taxes in 30 years, since 1996, I guess is when he launched this. So I just want you to see how he starts to use AI and some of the things he's saying. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that these are the same things that other people have said that I have come out and said, no, that's wrong. If you've gotten a copy of the PMA manifesto that was written with the two Angelas and Erica, we debunk a lot of these myths. So let's take a listen.
Now, let's talk about private membership associations, abbreviated as PMAs.
Now, we all know that PMAs actually don't exist. They're technically called unincorporated associations, but the sexy online term is PMA, Private Membership Association. So let's continue.
All right. Let's get a little definition from the AI, artificial intelligence.
Here we go. Right into the AI. He doesn't have a definition of his own. And he's going, yeah, you'll see. I'll just be quiet. You'll see. Let's play this.
Intelligence online, but what is it to begin with? Okay.
So first of all, he's using Google AI, which I do use AI for certain things because it makes things faster. Perplexity is a really great search tool. Open Case is another good AI if you're looking for legal stuff. But let's take a listen.
An overview says a private membership association is a private organization formed around a shared interest or purpose that operates outside of public jurisdictions, often allowing members to access exclusive benefits or services.
Okay, so right there, we know, and if you were at the Rogue Food Conference where we debated Pro Advocate, if you've downloaded that video, I think you can still get it through Joe Salatin's website. We did a 2-hour debate, an hour each day, and one of the things that they kept trying to say was just that you are outside of the public jurisdiction, and nobody could explain that. And what it really comes down to is not necessarily outside of the public jurisdiction. You have a right of assembly, you have the right to associate, you have the right to talk with, have commerce happen between your members. What you don't have the right to do is to break laws. So the folks over at Pro Advocate were like, "Oh, you can do whatever you want. It's a contractual agreement." Almost making it seem like you're above the law. You're not. I can tell you right now that I've had to help people fight fire marshals and zoning based on where they are. I've also had to help ministries fight off Office of Early Childhood because they try to say they're operating a unlicensed child care facility. And so you need to know what your state statutes are. You also need to understand how freedom of assembly works, and you need to understand that you are not above the law when you have an association. So when people talk with me, we talk about doing things with layers of defense or defense in depth. So when one thing fails, you have something else backing it up, because that's how most businesses work. You have your LLCs, and then they're held by this company and that company, and there's these different veils. So you want to make sure that you're doing things properly. And to say that you are outside of public jurisdiction isn't necessarily 100% correct, because if you are renting a spot, if your association, your members come, and for a while Liberty House was renting this old schoolhouse. If we were to exceed, let's say the occupancy was 50 people and we were at 150 people, we are now jeopardizing the safety and welfare of our members and other people. And the fire marshal could come in and shut us down because we are now exceeding that capacity, and that could lead to a catastrophic disaster should something happen. So that's how I want that to be understood. Let's continue.
Examples range from large organizations like the NAACP and the American Medical Association to small entities like private health or educational groups, or even a golf club that allows members to purchase alcohol in a dry county that does not allow alcohol, for example.
And we've covered the dry county part that PMA Power, I think, was really pushing as a resource to show the strength of associations. And again, if it's illegal in your area, you're going to have some protection, but you're going to have challenges. So I don't like it when they say, "Oh, well, you can serve alcohol in a dry county." Well, I could have a private club in the basement of my house where our wet bar is. I could have my members come over, and because it's completely private, nobody would know and it wouldn't be an issue. What happens is when these individuals taunt the local government and say, "Oh, well, I can do this." Well, if alcohol is illegal in your area, you're going to have a little bit of a fight on your hands, and most people don't want to stand up for themselves and say, "No, I have my right of association. I can do A, B, and C. These individuals are here. They're signed members. Here's the membership agreement. Here's what it states." And for example, there's an organization that I'm a part of, and we were doing a dinner to celebrate the women in our lives and to honor them. And so we put this together, and I started looking into a 1-day liquor license because we don't have one. We are a private association. And so I said, "This is nuts. We're not doing this. All we're doing is wine. It's our own members. We're not open to the public." We had our event. Nobody had any problems with it, and everything was fine. It's where you start really trying to go in the government and say, look what I'm doing. There's nothing you can say about it. Then you're going to find yourself really needing to understand how the Constitution works, your state statutes, your local ordinances, and how one can trump the other. So I'm not saying that it's not completely impossible. What I'm saying is people like this aren't very real when they talk with people and they make it sound like, oh, hey, well, AI said this. So this is the end all be all. And we know that AI can be right or wrong sometimes and right.
PMAs are founded on constitutional rights like freedom of association and private contracts.
It's not like it is freedom of association and private contracts as a part of it.
Allows them to establish their own rules and bylaws.
Okay, so AI got that part right. That very, very good AI.
All right. So that's a quick overview of it, but how does it work? The formation. A group of individuals can create a PMA by setting rules and regulations, and members join through a selective process. How about
Yes, that is true.
operation? A PMA operates on its own private rules separate from government
Oversight. Now, that's to some extent. So here's the thing. If you have an association and you have a member that you remove because you have an alternative dispute resolution clause in your bylaws, and you say, hey, listen, you're not following the mission statement of our association, you're really becoming a cancer, it's time for you to go, and they try to take you to court. What's going to happen is the court's going to say, okay, where are your bylaws, your articles of organization, your membership agreement? They're going to look at that in most cases from what we've seen and say, okay, you have no recourse here because you agreed to this private association. We're not going to come in and start changing things for them. They're doing everything legally and lawfully. And that's, again, this is only giving you part of it. And I'm going to try to keep this video under 25 minutes. So we might have to speed this up a little bit.
oversight. Okay. And benefits. Members can access exclusive services, product, or documentation. Okay. So this case of NAACP versus Alabama in 1958 is a key seminal case about private membership associations. Okay, that
Again, to an extent, because it had to do with members list. So I'm just trying to fast forward through this. Hopefully you can start seeing some of the repetitive patterns here that we've seen with others who only give, I don't want to say they're lying, because I just think maybe they're only going off of what they know, and maybe they just don't have the full amount of information, or they're trying to mix things together, which we're going to see here in a second.
everybody relies upon. And again, the benefits of PMA.
All right, so we're going to go past this if I can find it. Okay, here we go. All right, and this is where we get into the good old your tax exempt freedom of when you have uh, a faith-based association. That's the word I'm looking for. So let's take a listen.
Here's another one that talks about these things. Okay. Now, here's another one. Someone sells it that provides services that actually create.
Yeah, so I think at this point he's looking at different websites. I believe. I've only kind of skimmed through this because it is an hour-long video.
PMAs provide, if done properly, created.
Okay, so I don't know where he's pulling this from. If this is on his own website or this is a website he's referring to show that if they're done properly, you get these benefits, so to speak. So as you can see here, tax exempt only if approved by the IRS. So there is a tax exempt code for associations that are more of like a fraternal association, something along those lines. Faith-based PMAs, and there we go. Yes, tax exempt. We know that that's wrong. Ministries, we know that that's wrong from our research, the PMA manifesto, IRS tax code, things that aren't just made up in the obscurities of the internet. And ministry of God, still, nope, a ministry is a ministry, regardless of what your beliefs are. Again, a 508c1A tax code only applies to bona fide churches that meet the majority of the 12 requirements that the IRS has established. And that is to alleviate the church, if they want to go that route, to have to fill out the 1024 form, I believe is what it's called, for the tax exempt status. That's it. So if you have just a paper church and you have no members, no Sunday school, no normal gatherings, like a regular church, your own pamphlets and information and one denomination, that's not going to fly. You're going to end up just like those individuals from the BLM movement who took in all that money and then bought houses with it, right? When we've seen court cases like that, where the IRS courts have said, no, you're just a church on paper. You're not even operating at a church. You can't take in, say, $500,000, spend 499,000 on a beach house, and then leave the other amount in the other couple grand in the account, right? That's not how it works. So here we have, again, more bad information.
And run properly. Now, the key thing is creation and operation. That's the first thing. Because a PMA, private membership association, must be exactly that, an association of a bunch of people that get together privately and they create all these individuals coming together, this association. Therefore, they all own this thing together. American Medical Association is owned by all of its members. Technically speaking, no one owns singularly as one or two people or a couple, married couple, for example, a PMA, because it does not belong to any one.
Correct. It doesn't belong to any one individual, but there are individuals that run the association. So your president, your vice president, your treasurer, and your secretary, just like you would see in any other organization.
Or two people. It belongs to all of the members of the private membership association. All right. Now let's go take a look at the examples.
Okay, so he gets into some examples here, and I think we're going to be good here. Private clubs, educational cooperatives, yeah, all that stuff is definitely all those different examples are correct. You can use it for those things. So again, this isn't. I don't really enjoy doing these videos because I kind of feel like I'm beating people up a little bit. But to me, it's important that if you are going to spend your hard-earned money, you have got a group of people that want to come together for whatever your reason of association is. You want to build something, you want to build that community. I want you to do it right, and I want you to know what some of the pitfalls are and what some of the benefits are. And like, if you've ever talked to me, anybody that's watching this that's talked to me before, you know that there's times where I turn people away from associations because what they're trying to do, I can't in good faith say, yeah, you can do that, because I know you can't. And you're going to have others out there that are looking to make a quick dollar. They'll tell you whatever you want to hear, and they're going to take your money, and then you'll never see them again. And I've talked to a lot of people like that. And that's why I've been asked from a lot of people to read and review their documents that they've gotten from others. And so I was doing that. And that's another service that I provide that you can find on East Coast PMA. If you have documents, I can look through them, I can review them, I can give you edits where you can make it better. And in some cases, I see the same documents over and over, and all that's changed is the name of the association because the person got them from somebody else, and it's the same template that's being knocked around, and they're awful and hideous, and sometimes it's easier just to start from scratch. And that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow when you're talking to somebody that has spent 15, $2,400, maybe 10K if you went through pro advocates. And it, it's a hard pill to swallow if you spend that much money and then what you get isn't what you thought you were getting, I guess, is where I want to leave that. So it's been great here with you all. I'm going to try to start doing videos on Thursdays. maybe some lives, maybe some recorded ones. I feel the recorded ones for some reason get better traction and views than the live stuff, but I like doing both because I do like interacting with you through comments and stuff like that. So stay tuned, stick around. Things are going to start coming back alive here. There's stuff going up on East Coast PMA. We have the school membership now community being built. It is in its infancy stages. So um, I might deciding on how this week goes, how much content I can get up in there. I might do well. I think it's a week free right now to join if you want to check it out, interact. And then there's the different tiers. I might have it just free for the next month or two while I'm building things out, and then turning it to a paid service. Again, just because it really helps keep the riffraff out, I guess is the best way to put it. So, that being said, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's having a good end of the year. I'm looking forward to being back here on a more consistent basis. Hopefully, you'll turn into the radio show on 103 The Bent on Autolist. The show name is The Right Vibe with Aaron Bowman. And yeah, you can catch me Monday through Friday from 12 noon Eastern Standard to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard. The only day as of right now I'm not on is Tuesday, and that is just an all music day. And let me tell you, there's some great music on there. So, with all that said, folks, it was great seeing you, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.